Achaemenes is said to have lived around 701 BC, led the Great Migration of the Persians from the area south of Lake Urmia south through the area of the Medes and Elamites, which finally ended with the settlement at Anshan and the area around the later Persepolis. Clay tablets found in Susa show that the Persians already held fiefdoms in Elamite territory around 685 BC under the patronage of the Medes. According to Greek mythology, Achaemenes was the son of Perse and grandson of Perseus, after whom the Persians were named, and was fed by an eagle. In the 7th century BC, the Scythians invaded the areas north and east of the Black Sea and pushed out the Sumerians. 661 BC, when Phrodes was dead, and Cyaxares fought against the Lydians, when in the middle of the fight night came out of the day, and then he subdued all of Asia above the Halys, and was in the process of besieging Nineveh, when he moved against him a large Scythian army led by Medes, the son of Protothes, which pursued the Sumerians. The Medes met these Scythians, were overcome and lost their rule to the Scythians, who then moved against Psammetichai, the Egyptian pharaoh. The rule of the Scythians brought the Medes, above all, the achievement of the Scythian style of archery on horseback. The generosity of the Scythians is said to be remarkable. After they freed the Achaemenids from the patronage of the Medes in 653 BC, the Achaemenids swore to educate Persian boys in 3 things: horse riding, archery, and truth-telling. Between 630 and 625 BC, the Scythians undertook an advance into the Near East and raids as far as Palestine. It was only under their king Nabopolassar that the Chaldeans achieved full control over Babylonia, whose throne Nabopolassar ascended to in 625 BC. This marks the beginning of what is known as the Neo-Babylonian Empire. In 612 BC, the Medes, along with the Babylonians and the Scythians, conquered Nineveh and defeated the tyrannical Assyrians. According to the Babylonian Chronicle, the Scythians conquered Egypt in 609. With the beginning of Mede rule from 612 to 605 BC, Scythian influence in the Middle East declined. The Scythians had ruled all of Asia for 28 years. In 609, Babylonian sources report that the Scythians invaded the area of Urartu, and in 608 there are reports of Scythian settlements on the upper reaches of the Tigris. The fall of Urartu in the last third of the 7th century BC is therefore also attributed to Scythia and their allies, the Mede Empire. Nabopolassar, the king of Babylon, allied himself with the Medes still living in and around Menai, who later inherited the Elamites in the east. Nabopolassar's son was married to the granddaughter of the Mede king. This alliance opened the way to Nineveh, the Assyrian capital. The Babylonian king Nabopolassar entered into an alliance with the Medes against the Assyrians, who had ruled Babylon for 200 years. The alliance defeated the Assyrians, who in turn had requested an Egyptian troop contingent under Necho II, and Nabopolassar had all remnants of the Assyrian regency destroyed in 609 BC. The subjugation of the Assyrian cities lasted until 605 BC, when Nabopolassar died, after which Nebuchadnezzar II immediately rushed to Babylon to take over the throne. During his reign, Nebuchadnezzar developed extraordinary abilities as a statesman, military leader, peacemaker, and builder. For example, the Hanging Gardens of Babylon are attributed to him. His reputation in the world at the time was so great that he was called upon to act as a peacemaker between feuding tribes. Nebuchadnezzar had the temples rebuilt in all the cities of the land. Dependents could be given to temples to serve a particular deity. However, they were not considered slaves. In addition, the large temples also had slaves who were marked with the symbol of the corresponding deity. Nebuchadnezzar built canals, the so-called Median Wall, and the processional route with the Ishtar Gate. He promoted agriculture, horticulture, and trade so that the economy quickly recovered and prospered under the new Babylonian Empire. In 594 BC, the Scythians retreated to the north. In 562 BC, Nebuchadnezzar died, leaving his son Marduk a well-ordered and consolidated empire. After just 2 years, Marduk was killed in a rebellion. Strong disputes with the priesthood ultimately led to Nabonidus seizing the throne through an uprising in 555 BC. Nabonidus was a follower of the god Sin and had thus incurred the wrath of the Marduk priesthood. And it's not good to have breakfast with the Anunnaki priest gods. Cyrus II, a descendant of Achaemenes and king of Anshan, bribed the Mede army with good old gold. According to myths, the Median king Astyages once wanted to have Cyrus killed as a child. Cyrus was not yet an independent ruler. But that was about to change. The Mede army rebelled against the Mede king Astyages and handed him over to Cyrus, who then moved into the Mede capital Agamtanu, Ecbatana, and had the city's riches transported to Anshan. In 553 BC, the Median nobility allied with the Persians. What 550 BC led to the end of Mede rule. The Mede Confederacy was subdued by Cyrus, who thus laid the foundation for the Persian Empire. The Median aristocracy enjoyed many privileges in the Achaemenid Persian Empire and were involved in the administration. King Nabonidus ascended to the throne in 556 BC. The throne of Babylon. He led those of Nebuchadnezzar II. Economic reforms that had begun and confiscated the lands from the temples of the Marduk priesthood. In addition, he installed Sin, the moon god, as the supreme deity. This led to the now hostile priesthood of Babylon colluding with the Persian king Cyrus II, who professed support for Marduk when he conquered the city in 539 BC. Cooperated and was instrumental in his overthrow and that of Babylonia. Cyrus II, or Cyrus the Great, marched his army into the open gates of Babylon and conquered the city without resistance. This also caused the collapse of the new Babylonian Empire. Now Cyrus the Great was king of Elam, the Medes, and Babylon. The founder of the Achaemenid Persian Empire was Cyrus II, but Darius I is considered to be its designer. Cyrus II was shortly after 560 BC. King of Anshan, a region in Persia under the suzerainty of the Medes after the decline of the Elamite Empire in the 7th century BC, exercised hegemony over this area for around 100 years. Cyrus II succeeded with the help of the Scythians around 550 BC to shake off this supremacy. In the years that followed, Cyrus II conquered the Mede Empire and thus created the foundations of the Persian Empire by having himself crowned king of Babylon by the Sumerian Anunnaki high priests.